So I made this video a couple of days back, I think it was last week, on what you can do if you are frustrated in doing your work. And I basically shared, based on of course my experience, what all you can possibly do if you're feeling anxious, or if you're not happy, or basically overall you're not feeling motivated or frustrated with what is happening. And I received one very, very interesting comment on that particular video from John Alexander Urib. And I'm so sorry, John Alexander Urib, if I'm not able to pronounce your name correctly. So the comment is, and this comment is interesting and I'll read it. I agree with you. I also would like to hear your opinion on the case that you just don't want to do what you're supposed to do, even though you know it is important to finish your job. It is like if you weren't able to control your mind. So I think I understand what John is trying to ask in this question. And thank you very much, John, for this interesting question and for your comment. And I can also relate to it. I think it is true for almost everyone. I mean, no matter what you do, it could be a job, it could be a business, it could be freelancing, or whatever you're doing. I'm not really saying that this is only applicable for a specific type of work. And again, this is also not, I mean, this question is actually quite common, I believe, in all the fields. You may or you may not be in the field of IT. Of course, because I'm in the field of IT, I'll try to give you my examples. I think, and this is what I've also felt, I think it is okay to do what you don't want to do, but not for a long time. And I'll tell you a reason. So I made a video on a similar topic long back. I think it was a few months ago, where I talked about and where I basically shared my experience on learning and doing things with Excel, for example. So I used to hate Excel, and I used to hate Excel because for some reason I felt that working on Excel is a waste of time. It is not really going to add anything to my skill set, but I was totally wrong. And even till this date, I think it has been almost 20 years since I started doing something in the industry. I think almost till this date, I have benefited from Excel. Excel is a great tool. Excel is one such tool which I believe is even better than Windows because you can do a lot of things with Excel, and you just need to give it a try. And this is something that I'm not really saying because I was able to solve my problems using Excel. To be honest, I never really wanted to work on Excel. I never really even wanted to touch it or do anything with it, but I had to, because when I started working in the corporates, in big companies, they use Microsoft suite of tools. Everything is Microsoft based, even nowadays. And back then, when I started my career, I had to work on Excel. But when I started working on it, I realized that it is not a bad tool. I ended up learning a lot of things in Excel. I ended up launching my own blog. I ended up doing automations in Excel. And when I did that automation, I was able to not only solve my own problems, I also used to help others in my organization, my colleagues, my seniors, my seniors of seniors, like seniors of seniors. They used to come to me for doing things with Excel, like asking me to build tools, and that really opened up a lot of possibilities for me. And I also wrote a book. I also did trainings on the book. The book was never really published, by the way, but I wrote it, and from that point, I got the idea that okay, I can also write a book. I can also be really good in something, because when I started doing those things in Excel, like automating things, I I realized that I can be really good in one thing, and people can rely on me for solving their problems, for basically making sure that I'm able to do something that they can't do on their own. So that was one thing. I can also give you one more example, and that is really important. The other example is Jira. Now, Jira is, as you know, probably already know, I think it is a proprietary tool. You have to pay for it. But from the very start of my career, my early days, I was always, and I'm still, open source. I promote open source tools. I use Linux. I use, for example, on this laptop, I use Arch Linux, which you probably know already, because I made a lot of videos on this. And I made a blog on Linux. I used to only use open source technologies. Fedora was my main operating system for many years until November last year. Then I switched to Arch Linux. Now, when I started my career, and when I also did a lot of freelancing, I also worked for the other clients. I was always looking for ways to improve myself in terms of planning, because I was always working on multiple projects at the same time, and I used to basically do things, planning in different tools. I made a project management tool in Excel. You click a button and it will do a lot of wonderful things. I made my own web-based tool. Then I also tried making or doing something with Drupal, and I tried a lot of open source project management tools. And I was into this field, this domain of project management. I was doing a lot of things with the tools, and the company, where I was working, they realized, okay, this guy is really good in using different tools. So let us give him this task to deploy MS Project Server in the organization, which I did. I did a training. I got certified. I learned a lot of things, and I deployed it for the company. And then what happened? They also gave me this chance to do things on Jira, because Jira was not massively popular. I mean, it was not popular tool back then, but it was cheap, and it was able to do things that other tools were not able to do. For example, the way you can customize things, the way you can create workflows. And I was not massively interested in using a tool like Jira or even MS Project Server, for example. But because I started working on Excel, although I didn't like it, I did automations. People started knowing me. Then they gave me, then they started throwing things at me like, okay, you're already good in writing VBA code. Why not you try to deploy MS Project Server, which I did. Then they realized it will be very, very expensive. So let us also ask Ravi to deploy Jira, which I did, although I didn't like it in the beginning, but I was always open. So, and now I'm doing things mainly on Jira, along with, of course, Drupal. But Jira has been my main competency, along with Drupal for the past, I guess, 15 years now. And all this started because I was open to try new things. I could have said no, I don't really want to create this report in Excel, and I don't think all the opportunities I got, I don't think whatever happened would have happened if I said no in the beginning. Now, talking about trying something new, even if you don't want to do it, even though it is very important to finish your job. So in your comment, John, you're saying that it is very important and you can't control your mind. I think that is probably related to the same thing where I talked about frustration. I think we should try to be open. I know sometimes we don't like doing things, but we have to. For example, for a long time, I mean, there was a time when I used to hate even thinking about sales or selling, but but later on, when I started my own company, I was doing sales, because when you're on your own, you are in a way selling. Even if you're a freelancer, you have to sell. You have to know how to sell yourself. But I then got a chance to work in an organization where I was part of the pre-sale team. So pre-sale is kind of selling, but of course it is focused on the technical aspects, where you have to convince clients and you have to give demonstrations to them, and you have to basically help the sales team. You have to make proposals, and all that knowledge always helps you. Talking about proposals, in my my earliest jobs, I was basically an account manager. I had to write proposals, I had to interact with clients, and when I learned how to write proposals, that skill of writing proposal helped me all my life, all my professional career, because when you're dealing with someone, let us say you have to convince someone, let us say you're a freelancer, or you have a small firm, and you have a service to sell, or you have a product to sell, or basically you're selling your time. Trust me, if you are able to, the initial process, the way you handle the clients, the way you make a nice proposal based on their requirements, although people may not read the whole proposal line by line, but if they like your approach, if they like the look and feel of the proposal, if they think that you have captured their requirements properly in a proposal and proposed a solution based on their requirements, and you have made a nice table of all the deliverables with timeline, I think that is all you need to do. Because if you're trying to do something like settle down or maybe you're competing with other people, I think these small areas are things that will make you that will basically give you an edge over others, over competitors. So what I'm trying to say is that although you may not know that those things are I can understand that those things that you don't want to do may seem unnecessary, or may feel, even if you know they are necessary but you don't really want to do them, I think you should still be open and try to do them, finish them and move on, because you may never get a chance to do everything that you want to do, because I think when you have to do set of activities, there are things that will always be boring, always be monotonous, but we still have to do it. If you are not a freelancer, if you maybe are part of a team, or maybe you're growing your team, then you should make a list of those things that you don't want to do, and you can hire others, or maybe you can ask someone else to do it for you. For example, let me give you one more example. I don't like editing videos at all, but I like making videos. I want to post a video regularly, and that is why long back I decided that I will never do editing, at least for majority of my videos. If you go to my other channel where I make videos on Jira, I open my laptop, I start talking, I start recording, and I upload it. That is it. The videos that I make like these, I just started my mobile phone, I clicked on the red button, and I'm talking, and then I will stop the button, because I don't want to edit the videos, but I'm still doing it. I'm trying to find ways so that I don't have to do those things that I don't like, or I can do them quickly, or I can find someone else to do it for me. So these are some of the thoughts that I thought I'll share with you, John, and everyone else, in case you have to do things that you don't want to do. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.